Hello, everyone. Welcome to another commentary podcast. I'm Captain Logan, and with me today is Eric.
Hi.
And the real Manos.
What's up, Quintessons?
And today, I just learned what that is. Today we're doing a movie that I am not remotely qualified to talk about, and that's why I've brought with me two people who are. Today, we're doing Transformers the movie, which came out in 1986, and this is a movie that was kind of legendary and elusive to me as a kid growing up. I say as a kid, I don't think I even heard about this until I was in like junior high, and I had a couple friends that were really obsessed with this movie, and I never got to see it somehow or rather, and only just now, and always heard about it, and always heard about how amazing it was, and how like epically elitist it is, in that if people that don't know Transformers go in and watch this, they won't really have any idea what they're looking at. And at least with, like, Optimus Prime's death and stuff, you're like, oh, that's really epic, and I don't know who these people are. But I finally got to watch this a couple weeks ago and really enjoyed it, and now I'm going to watch it with people who are going to be able to tell me what in the world I'm looking at.
Mostly?
Mostly.
I'm not going to be able to explain why Weird Al's there. Like, it's never made sense.
Oh, great. Thanks for bringing up the only thing I had to bring to the table.
That's the only... That's how they knew they were going to get butts in seats. Weird Al. And Robert Stack. You put Robert Stack in an animated film, kids just flock to it.
Well, I mean, Judd Nelson. It's right after The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
So this is one of those movies that I don't know how hard this is to get these days. I think this 20th anniversary edition that, by the way, one of our viewers sent me this in the mail, so thanks for that. But I imagine this one is probably the more easily to get version of it.
Yeah, I have the ancient bare bones Rhino DVD release from the dawn of DVD.
Yes.
And one thing we've discovered is that neither of them have actual subtitles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Blu-ray release.
Yeah, I have the awesome anniversary, the 20th anniversary one, which features a cover where you can either have Optimus Prime holding the Matrix of Leadership or Rodimus Prime. I choose Optimus Prime because I like him, and even though that doesn't happen in the film.
Yeah, it's cool. They actually have
like
special
Rodimus.
features and things, which I'll have to sit down and watch at some point. Which, if I had watched before this, I would know more things.
Oh, these special...
They actually have a commentary track on there that's by Transformers fans.
Oh, I thought you were just going to say that's by Transformers.
No. They have the one where it's all the people that made the movie, and they tell you how they didn't care about this movie, and it's just getting rid of a toy line. But then they also have a commentary track by, like, fans from, like, Transformers websites.
Is it good? Eric?
I love the two commentaries. There's one by the
I
the
don't
one
remember.
by
I
the
listened to
Raiders
it
is
years
really
ago.
good. And I listened to them both. They were both interesting to listen to. The fan one was a little more fun to listen to because they point out all the animation mistakes.
Which I think the show, though I never watched much of that, I think the show was
Hello?
kind of notorious for that.
Oh, no.
All right.
Should we laugh now?
Sure, feel free.
Okay.
Wow, Eric's laugh sounds a lot like silence.
For so much.
You're not paying attention.
Come on, Sony Blu-ray. Come on, do it.
Wait,
Do
what?
it! Do it now!
This thing has been on pause for like 3 hours. Oh, we've been talking.
We've not been talking for 3 hours! Okay, I'm gonna get us started here.
Okay, here we go.
Are you good?
I'm good. Just rewinding the little De Laurentiis lion here.
Okay, well, I'm recording,
So
so
it's
you let me know when you're ready, Manos.
I am super ready.
All right, folks, go ahead and grab your DVD or any version of it you have, or your... Is this on Blu-ray?
Ooh, I don't know.
It's either coming out or it's just out.
Oh, okay. So any way that you're watching this, get it to timestamp 0 and get ready to press play whenever I say now. And we're going to do our level best to all stay in sync through the whole thing, since there's 3 of us and we have not had the best connection tonight. So we'll see how things go. Everybody, please press play right now! And that was the sound of 3 men pressing play.
Yes. All right.
I had never heard of that group before.
What, Sunbow?
DEG. That's new to me.
Oh yeah, that's Dino De Laurentiis. He was an Italian film producer, and he made a lot of stuff. He actually helped make Danger Diabolik.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
he also made the King Kong movie with the giant King Kong that didn't work.
The King Kong.
And it all comes back to Danger Diabolik. That is one of those movies where once you see it, it somehow or rather keeps popping up. But it's really obscure, and most people don't know about it.
And it's super awesome when you see it, and you go, oh, what was I worried about? Meanwhile, in fictional planets...
You know, there's a lot of things I'm going to talk about that, like, the cartoons or the comics picked up on and ran with. These characters are not one of them. They do not come back.
They do not. There is a listing in the Marvel Universe Transformers Universe Guide.
And it gives alt modes for them, which they don't have in the movie.
Yeah, it says they transform, which they don't in this movie. Which, to be honest, I'd rather they didn't transform. I like the fact that there are other robot civilizations out there that don't transform, because everyone else does in this movie.
They kind of look like they could go either way.
Like some kind of rock.
They look like they could maybe not be Transformers, but then, you know, they know what Unicron is.
Yeah. Well, and they also believe in having mustaches.
And weird heads. They all have like these weird like heart-shaped heads.
They're almost like alien heads, like you would see like in Mars Attacks or something like that. They're those weird. You know, I've been trying to figure out what those shapes remind me.
You're right. I keep expecting to see like brain tissue.
That was our first of many deaths.
Yes, many, many, many deaths. The whole civilization gets wiped out in this. Oh, because you get the feeling that maybe the last of them die, you know, at the end, by the hands of the Quintessons.
And we saw the
first time I saw this, I thought that the guy pouring the chemicals at the beginning was a bartender.
Well, and we saw the space pods, so they can't even pull the old Voltron trick of, no, it's okay, they all got to the escape pods before the planet blew up.
Yeah. If this aired on TV, there would be a character off to the side going, it's okay, their parachute's open.
Not inside of Unicron.
So when I put this on for Jason and I to watch the first time I watched it, he lost his mind at this song. He just started cracking up uncontrollably and thought it was the best thing he'd ever heard.
Somebody was watching over you.
There is nothing more 80s metal than this movie.
And it's nothing you can do.
You just keep doing that with the music through the whole thing, and that's how we'll be able to tell if you're in sync with us or not.
These are not anything like the Superman the Motion Picture titles.
That's exactly.
Yeah, so get that out of your mind.
But I kind of like it because it's got this. I mean, it's a big space epic, and I obviously Superman is only partly a space epic, but it kind of helps give you the sense of, oh, we're in for a big space epic.
Well, Master Universe also has the exact same opening credits as Superman,
it does.
So maybe that is what they were going for.
A million films during this period had this kind of opening, so... here we go. It is the year 2005.
So futuristic,
the treacherous Decepticons. Yeah, thank you. The treacherous Decepticons have vanquished the Autobots from their home planet of Cybertron. Now on two of Cybertron's moons, the Autobots... Something, I forgot.
Manos, we can do a separate quote along at some point. You know, we could do that kind of commentary.
I love
We
the
did a go
narrator.
along and a sing along.
Oh,
I love the narrator voice for Transformers. He did the commercials, he did episodes, he did this film. He's just the coolest.
So I'm sure Manos knows this, but Cap, Peter Cullen also voices Ironhide, so he's talking to himself right now.
Yes.
Well, and you have the same thing with Welker, with
Playing 80% of the cast.
yeah, right. Well, there's
On
that.
any movie, really.
But especially because he's Megatron and Starscream, and they talk to each other constantly.
No, he's Megatron and Soundwave.
Oh, I thought he was also Starscream. Oh, and Soundwave.
No.
That's it. Okay.
That was Chris Latta. And I gotta tell you, man, when this film opened, okay, let me paint this out here. I was 15 when this movie came out. Me and my friend Richard were big Transformers fans, so we went to see this on an afternoon. I think it was Friday afternoon, and there were tons of kids in this, and we were probably the oldest in the theater. And I was pretty blown away by the fact that it took place 20 years later, and Spike's an adult, and it's funny. It takes place in that's Cliff Jumper's animation mistake. His top is gray instead of red. And I was really blown away by the fact that it took place 20 years later. Meanwhile, in 2005, my fiance dumped me after 5 years. So that's what's going on with me in 2005. Well, the Autobots are dealing with their problem.
I was 14. I just gotten my first not real girlfriend, like name only girlfriend. So that's what's going on with me in 2005.
Yeah, what's going on with you?
And I have been dating Sarah for 2 years.
Yeah, so yeah, you guys were okay, but crappy year for me. I had a much
I was
better
also
2006.
I live in Florida, but I love John Constantine, so I'm going to wear a trench coat during the summer phase.
Yeah. More than you can imagine, Optimus Prime.
I'm gonna start saying that before anything that looks complicated. What Optimus said a moment ago. All we need is a little energon and a lot of luck.
Okay, cue the soundtrack. And let's see, amazing. Like Autobots get shot in this. They are shot like thousands of times in their TV show and shrugged off. This film, boom! Ron gets shot in the shoulder, dead.
There's also, in the original script, when Megatron shoots them, they, like, fuse together. Like, but that was too violent. We had to cut that one out.
Oh, that's sad. Oh,
Why is that more violent than what we're looking at right now?
And playing to, like, hardcore music, too. Like, yeah, kill those Autobots!
Instruments of Destruction.
Yeah. Instruments of Destruction!
So I found this movie a very different way.
Yes.
My uncle was a Transformers fan and had it on VHS. So the movie is my first introduction to G1. I was already a Beast Wars fan. And so I watched this movie and I was like, oh man, the old cartoon is way cooler than Beast Wars. People die left and right in that cartoon. And then I went and I watched some of the series and found out that is not true.
It is not true, no. I was obsessed with this show at the time, and I watched the first 2 seasons. And, boom, dead. That's what I knew when I was watching this. Like,
I went back to the first 2 seasons. I was like, oh, walking corpses.
I was watching. Yeah, I mean, Ironhide is one of the main
by
characters.
Numberland.
Yeah, Ironhide is one of the main characters, and when that happened, I thought, oh my god, this is on now. This is. See, the thing is, a lot of people were a lot of kids were wondering why all these characters were getting killed, and I was 15 and I already knew how the world was working. Of course, being a 15-year-old, and I understood that the Transformers getting killed in this movie were also not in the new line of toys for that fall. So I could really figure it out. Like, oh, okay, he's gonna get killed. Ultra Magnus got shot, and it was like, well, he's coming back because he's a new toy.
He's a new leader.
Yeah, he's the new leader, and
Yeah, and of course, simultaneously, you have to bring in a lot of new characters.
that's right. And that's what this film was for. Like, oh, hey, we're getting rid of the old toys, we're introducing the new ones. Have at it. Go fun. Go have fun. Kill all these
Well,
guys.
it's interesting because I come to G1 through this movie.
Yeah.
A lot of my favorite characters come from this movie. Huff is my second favorite Transformer of all time.
Wow, that
I-
kid is sure lucky that
I have so many
was
cousins
there,
with it.
because he might have wiped out and been dead.
I
I love how he just
I
wipes
love-
out, and then the Transformer guy grabs him, and then I'm like, wow, that looks like a really dangerous hoverboard, and I hope you don't try to do it over water.
well, it can't be any more dangerous than the hoverboards we have now.
Yeah, the ones I don't know why
Oh,
they
right,
the
yeah.
hoverboards in 2005
I'll
were
swing out,
way
yeah.
more advanced.
What's that?
The hoverboards in 2005 were way more advanced than the ones we have now.
And they don't explode all the time.
Well, yeah, that's one good thing about the current one.
Which is ironic because they
Slower.
actually have like fire thrusters.
Yeah. I have the theory that the guy who invented hoverboards just hates kids.
Oh, actually,
And he was trying to figure out like how can I trick kids into setting themselves on fire?
you actually can
That's
take
funny
those
because a lot of
hoverboards
people's
on
theory
fire.
about this movie is that the writers hate children and just wanted to make them cry.
I love that shot of all the Decepticons coming out of that ship. And I love the fact that the Dare music goes into this sort of cool score piece. And here's when I fell in love with Cup right here. Cup is my favorite of the G2 Transformers. And I've never been the biggest fan of the Insecticons, and I always thought Blitzkrieg was a jerk. So here he comes and does this cool flippy thing and causes Blitzkrieg to shoot the Insecticon shrapnel, and boom. Boom! I love it. I was like, okay, I'm marrying this character. He is perfect.
It's weird to me how much of kind of a feel-good movie this feels while you're watching all these characters getting killed.
There's a
What's cool
scene.
and fun?
Yeah, there's a scene later where they pull back from this battle, and you can see them shooting a long way. I remember thinking, like, oh man, this is like a war and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the idea.
They will later decide that Perceptor is a medic, and that's the only way his ult would make sense.
Yeah. Because otherwise he's this gigantic microscope.
That only comes in handy every now and again.
And of course here we get introduced to Ultra Magnus, Blur, Springer, and RC, who I think has had the longest life of all these characters.
And Susan Blue keeps coming back and voicing her.
Yeah, that's right. She's actually a voice director, and she's been directing, I think, most of the Transformers shows since then.
I'm sure if I grew up with this stuff, I would be able to tell the difference between these characters, but it blows my mind that people can look at these characters and know... And
Well, Springer is green, Blur is blue, RC is pink, Ultra Magnus is big.
and I
They're
know
basically the Power Rangers.
a lot of
kinda.
things were color-coded, but and we had that when I was a kid too, of course, the Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles, but the difference is there are so many of them.
Yeah. Oh man, and this
Well, and some of them,
some get introduced like
and
all at once.
some of them are literally just recolors of other characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them just kind of run together for me, but then...
I love that Starscream shoots his own foot off.
Yeah.
There's a joke there.
I thought this was when he was gonna get killed. I was like, oh no, please. Because Starscream, by the way, is one of
No,
my
he
favorites.
never dies.
That's my wife's favorite.
He's an awesome character. One of the things I loved so much about Transformers was the dichotomy between him and Megatron and Soundwave. Those are my three favorite Decepticons, and they made this show for me. Because I always had this theory that, because he was constantly trying to observe Megatron, and Megatron kills everybody except the guy who's trying to constantly stab him in the back. And I've always had this theory that Megatron built Starscream. And so there's kind of a bad father-son relationship going on there.
They hinted at in the Dreamwave comics.
Oh, cool.
And then they got canceled because they were Dreamwave comics.
Yeah.
Well,
Another awesome moment.
only on Megatron they have that. Yeah.
I hate kick back and boom.
So are there other Transformers that build other Transformers?
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on what continuity and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the continuity is a little bit funky, but see,
Down.
because like sometimes the Dinobots were found, and sometimes the Autobots built them, so it kind of depends on which way you go. And here's Buster Jones as Blaster.
And now he's a tape deck. Yes.
So there's a guy there called Ratbat Cap. We're gonna later decide that he's like a diplomat, and he's a completely fleshed out character.
Yeah, which is weird because he's like a bat.
Really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb.
First you crack the shell, then you crack the inside.
The inside. I like that line too. That's pretty funny.
I love Rumble. I don't know why. He's from the Bronx. I love him. He's great. Another Frank Walker.
Because it's Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah. And this, by the way, this in the audience I watched this with went nuts. As soon as Blaster let his cassettes go and started fighting, the one shooting Ravage here, that got a big laugh. We're all gonna burn out toaster ovens.
And Blur is the... Also, is it weird that they fade to commercial there?
Yes. I keep wondering about that. Like Manos, was it like that in the theater, or is this the televised version?
No, that's exactly how it faded.
Why did they do that? Just they have specific breaks.
Well, they were
in case
TV
they
makers.
don't-
They didn't know about movies.
Yeah. Oh, you're
And I mean, they had to have
Wheeljack.
known from the beginning that they were making something that would go to the theater, or A, they wouldn't have let this many characters die, and B, they wouldn't have put this much detail and care in the animation.
Yeah. I mean, with barring some mistakes, man, Wheeljack is lying there dead. No mention of it. And Ironhide is
They made
like
the
one of the main.
Dinobots.
Yeah, he was one of the. Ironhide is one of the main characters. Nobody mentions it. It's kind of. Everybody cares about Optimus. He gets his big death scene, but everybody else is like, whatever.
Well, what do we need Ironhide for? We got Springer. He's cool and new and transforms the two vehicles.
Yeah, buy him, kids.
If I may give you a real quick perspective on this from someone that doesn't know jack for anything about Transformers.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, I've read a couple things now here and there in comics and enjoyed what I've looked at. But if you don't know this material, not only is it hard to keep up with who some of these characters are and which ones get killed and stuff, but I think that you might not even notice how many of them actually get knocked off. Like I think it's really
Maybe.
easy. I think it's really easy to not even realize that people are dying in this movie. If you're not familiar with them, and if you're
And
if
don't
you're not
worry,
coming
because
at it
they themselves forget who died. So some of the people whose corpses you see show up again in season 3.
Yeah, every once in a while, animation mistakes like that. Hey, look, Swoop. Oh, hold on. Swoop runs by there. His legs run by. He's not even on the planet. He shows up later in the scene.
that's weird.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
And of course, we're only using Devastator because... Sorry.
You're fine.
You
I was
can't
just gonna
use
say
the others for some reason.
people love to talk about all the animation mistakes in this movie, but I have to say it is such a gorgeous looking film.
It is. No, I mean, there are animation mistakes, but it is beautiful. It's the best the G1 Transformers ever looked.
It
There's
was
some
really unique. I mean, I've never seen anything else like it. The thing that I can compare it most to, both in tone and animation style, is Heavy Metal, and I think it is basically Heavy Metal for children.
Maybe. I actually like this movie better than Heavy Metal.
I'm not comparing them as
Well,
which one is a
together
better
better.
movie, but I feel like it's got a lot of inspiration from that, especially because
I would add.
especially because of the rock soundtrack.
I would.
It feels like it's trying to be as edgy, as close to that as it can, and still be enough for kids.
Devastator must be stopped. Whatever.
I mentioned the Devastator thing. The reason we don't have any
Here
other
it comes.
devices is because
You got the touch!
they started making this at the beginning of season 2, before they had the other combiners.
Yeah.
You got the power! When all hell's breaking loose, you'll be right up the bomb.
Bow, bow. There goes thrust.
You know, in the movie, where everyone's dying, Optimus is even more invulnerable than he was in the cartoon.
Never used those things before. Take that. Wait a minute, I got a great idea. We could just shoot them. And this is, of course, the exchange between Optimus and Megatron that was used for the first Michael Bay film. Why throw
And
away
every
my-
Optimus Megatron fight ever since.
Pretty much, yeah. It is kind of... Yeah, that's true.
They open Transformers Prime with this dialogue. I mean, not like literally the first scene, but like that first miniseries ends with this dialogue.
Yes.
Oh, but it looks so cool. And they do things that, like, you never saw in the cartoon. Like, his gun falls off and they get stabbed and stuff.
Yeah, but you know, man, I've seen Optimus take so hard of hits in the show, and then a piece of shrapnel like stabs him. Oh God, that's a cool shot. And this is one of my favorite images in the movie. Actually, is this shot?
I didn't know Megatron had a lightsaber.
That was just laying
It
around.
doesn't. It showed this shot.
Actually, he has a laser
It's the
mace.
acid thing.
He has the
it's
act.
mace.
Oh yeah, no. Optimus has the mace that he never used again, and
Yeah.
Transformers.
One of them has a mace, one of them has an axe.
I think Optimus has the mace, the laser mace, and and Megatron has the laser axe, and they never used them since. Finish off Prime.
Like, was that stuff considered just too violent for the TV show, or did they forget they had it, or?
No, it's just one
I
of those
think they
things where they do it in
forgot
the pilot and then they just don't do it again.
That was kind of a thing they used to do in TV shows a long time ago. Is they give characters powers and then kind of forget about them because they needed them for that episode.
Godzilla movies too.
Yeah. No, you don't, Megatron.
I mean, that even happens in live-action science fiction shows, as Eric and I are finding with our Bat 5 DS9 show.
I just love how intense this moment is. I mean, they actually
I love how
did
Alex Megatron is animated.
Oh, I know
In the
that.
shots where they animate him like that, other shots not so much.
Yeah, they're far away now, but I mean this close up coming up.
I really like that the music actually drops out here because it feels like a you remember this movie as a continuous soundtrack,
Yeah.
and they are thinking about that stuff. They're conscious of it, but sometimes and there's an intentional juxtaposition with the hard rock and ballad music. And what you're looking at, and then sometimes it's a hilarious juxtaposition where you're like, what I'm listening to does not go with all the death and carnage that I'm seeing on screen.
Oh, you mean the Weird Al song?
We'll talk about that later.
Well, that
though,
one's not so much Death and Carnage, that one's just dancing.
Yeah.
There's actually sort of, I can see why they went with that. Like there's kind of a thematic reason. We'll talk about when we get there. That's the one thing I have to talk about.
Okay, we'll give you the floor. And
I
this moment got a laugh.
long or anything.
That moment got a pretty good laugh in the theater. And RC, does anybody else think that they gave her kind of a Princess Leia head? Like,
I
she
want
has
to say
those-
they mentioned that in the special features on the DVD that like it was a like slightly intentional thing. I know I've heard that been brought up before. I just can't remember where. Okay, so there's this weird phenomenon of
Yeah.
people of like it's like a mass hallucination of people who remember movie scenes differently. My mom has this with Wizard of Oz. She has this memory of anything Wizard of Oz doesn't exist. And then, like, after talking about it for 20 years, she goes online, finds out there's thousands of other people with that memory. There is a contingent of people who swear her up and down that when Optimus Prime turns gray, he turns to dust. They swear in theaters that he
Wrong.
turns to dust.
Wrong. I am a living
I know.
witness. I know that's wrong. He just maybe their mind's eye. saw that, but he just turned gray and turned his head dead. Which to me is weird. Like, what, their paint fades or something? This seems really well done, though.
Well, it doesn't happen with anyone else. Nobody else turns gray. Ever.
Well, Starscream turns gray.
Decline thing. Oh, unless someone else does turn gray.
Yeah, Starscream turns gray.
Well, but I mean, he's like getting disintegrated.
Yeah. Anyway,
like none of the Transformers we saw littering the battlefield were gray.
yeah, no kidding. Well, this is the moment where he gives Ultra Magnus the Matrix of Leadership, which was the super important thing they never talked about until now.
Well, we didn't need it before now.
I know. It's like 2 seasons, nothing, no Matrix. Oh yeah, the Matrix.
Actually, the Matrix is in the comics by Bob Budiansky, but completely different.
Afterwards.
No, before. It's in his brain. It's just like this weird. He's like, Matrix is a word.
Is that where they got it from? Or did
I
you
don't
come up
know.
with it?
I don't-
Or did they come up with Matrix independently for sort of the same thing twice?
Either's possible.
I love. One of the things I really like is when Hot Rod catches it. It's like it works both as foreshadowing and in the moment of, well, this is here because look how awesome this thing is.
That
Like,
was
I
a
feel like
really
it-
TOS looking computer.
Yeah. And then, man, how did they make Optimus look so lifeless right there? I mean, he's a robot anyway, but right there, he just looks dead.
I think it's by
Well,
not
before he turned gray.
animating anything in the frame, Manos, except for the eyeballs. I think that's how you do that,
Yeah.
is you don't have it move at all.
Yeah. I was kind of bugged when I watched that scene that none of the characters that had been in the show was there, except, well, Perceptor. But, Daniel, like, who's Daniel? Who are these other characters?
See, this stuff is
Oh,
gorgeous. Like, we didn't have to go this far with the detailing colors and stuff.
Yeah, that's a beautiful design. Oh, and this is a great scene. I love this scene that's coming up, where the Decepticons, like, fight over leadership.
I love it because it's one of those like classic Transformers. Like we don't really care about size because like we see Astro Train and then Devastator forms inside of him.
Yeah.
She stands right up. I just love how ridiculous they are. They just throw out the broken ones.
Yep. And the Decepticons are not really that helpful towards each other. Those are main, old villains like there. And this moment was just like finally, 2 seasons building up to this.
What up, bitch?
Starscream! Man, Chris Latta is awesome. I miss him. He was great as, Starscream, he was also Cobra Commander.
Those are the two that I know him by. Does he do anything else? Like, does he have any other big ones? Like, I just don't know.
On Transformers, he also played Wheeljack.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I actually learned that from the recent Phaelus retrospective. It's like, wow, no idea. That's a good actor. And Soundwave is awesome. I love this character.
Soundwave's superior. Constructicon's inferior.
No way! I'm sure Astro Train really enjoys this fight.
Yeah, after he just said, hey, there's too much weight, they're
Like,
just
sure.
throwing each other around.
Go have fun battling inside me. And here we go to Orson Welles as Unicron. This is his credited last film, by the way. He actually died months after he recorded this.
And I always thought he gave a really good performance.
He
Like, I'm
did.
sure he didn't care, but
Oh, he did not care, no.
there's an interview somewhere where he's like, yeah, I play a toy that eats other toys. Which isn't incorrect.
Well, considering his health wasn't very good, I've heard a story. There's actually a really good recount on this DVD you have, like, the audio director, the vocal director talking about working with him, and he was not in good shape, and he was even out of breath, and a lot of his line delivery. So they kind of modulated his voice a little bit to sound more menacing.
Well, I thought they had to modulate. I'm glad you said that, because I remember watching this thinking, wow, they've modulated it so much you almost can't even tell it's him.
Yeah, that's kind of what they had to do.
That's kind of unfortunate. I mean,
this...
it's not bad. It's really creepy and memorable. It's just it kind of could have been anybody ultimately.
Almost. Well, that's the thing when you cast like celebrity actors to get butts in seats for your film. Like, it's not really 100% necessary.
Well, because then after that, I was surprised that Leonard Nimoy was so recognizable, because I thought maybe he would be super modulated like that too, and then he wasn't.
No. There's a funny story, like, when he went in to record, he, like, asked to borrow a bathroom, and he was doing vocal exercises for, like, 10-20 minutes before he started recording. I love how actor-actory. Okay, here we go. The big meeting between Megatron and Unicron.
And Megatron is right.
Megatron, yeah.
That is real Tronny right there.
Yep, this is the most Tronny you can get.
He also seems to be like salivating out of his mouth and eyes, and I've always thought that was a weird choice.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's fluid. Oh yeah, he's like he's crying. Megatron, you're crying.
There are a few moments like this that look vaguely computer enhanced to me, and I wonder if, as early as 1986, that was the case.
I love how these look.
Yeah. Aren't they? I love the backgrounds. Yeah, that's definitely like early CG work. And
Yeah,
it's incorporated really well into the film. Like, yeah. It looks different because what Unicron is doing.
Of course, like you can get away with a lot when it's all machinery.
So, what was it, 2 years ago when the last Transformers movie came out, Cap and I reviewed it, and he blew my mind, because he's like, so is he called Galvatron because he's galvanized from parts of other Transformers? And I guarantee you that's why, even in this film, he's called Galvatron, and I'd never put a single thought into why he was called Galvatron. But it's probably because he's galvanized from Megatron.
Man, I'm so excited that you didn't think of that.
And now, hey Eric, let me ask you this: do you think Cyclonus and Scourge remember being the previous Transformers, or do you think they're all new life forms?
In the film, it seems like they're all new life forms. In Season 3, it gets kind of dodgy.
Yeah.
Sometimes they seem to remember, and sometimes they don't.
Well, Cyclonus has a completely different personality.
That's true. Yeah, Cyclonus is really different.
Yeah. You barely get a sense of who Cyclonus is in this movie, but in the following season, you really get. He's
really honorable.
Yeah, he's a really cool character. Unless there's that side of you didn't see. I remember when I first saw Scourge in a toy store, I thought he was a boat. I had no idea what he was supposed to be.
Oh, he disintegrated. Whoa.
When we go to Season 3 after this, it's not Leonard Nimoy anymore as Galvatron, and that is really jarring.
I bet.
It's Frank Welker again.
It's Frank Welker not doing a Megatron voice, doing a different voice, and he's not even trying to sound like
oh, that's
Leonard
weird.
Nimoy.
Well, okay, so I was going to ask you if Galvatron sticks around or if they did something else after that.
No, at the end of this movie, he falls away. And then Season 3, we find him in, like, a lava pit, and he's gone completely insane.
Do they move very far forward, or is it still the same year, or...?
It takes place in 2006.
Yeah.
Oh, of course it does. Okay, the year that this movie probably. See, I wonder if this movie didn't come out a little later than they had intended it to, because like you know, it being 20 years after the release date, you'd think you'd do the Back to the Future thing and you'd make it an even number.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be. There's a comic that I'm going to bring up in a little bit. There's a British Transformers comic called Target 2006.
Yeah.
And it was based on the first draft of the screenplay, or an earlier draft of the screenplay, where it was 2006, and then they changed 2005 for some reason.
Mm.
Oh, weird.
So they thought they were coming out in 86.
I really wanted to mention, because we talked past it, that one of my favorite things in this is that Megatron turning into Galvatron, he upgrades from a gun that someone else has to wield to a stationary turret.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing. Like, now he can fire by himself, but he has to stay in one place.
He doesn't need anybody to hold him. Oh.
Even Transformers like apes and crowns.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Well, who doesn't? I mean, really. And of course, we talked through Starscream's death, which was like one of the things like bothered me the most with this. It's like, man, he went out like a punk.
He comes back though.
He does come back in an insane way that makes no sense, but I don't care. Oh, I'm
He's
glad
a
he came back.
time-traveling ghost.
Yes.
What? Okay.
Well,
He comes back as a
that
ghost, and he
He
can
comes back as
possess,
a ghost. Yeah.
and he can possess other Transformers, and he's able to talk the head of Unicron into giving him back an all new body. And he shot and sent hurtling through space. Presumably we'll see him again, but we never really see him again. But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, he shows up in Beast Wars. So
It takes place on prehistoric Earth, so he goes backwards in time.
I know, so crazy.
See, I didn't know if those shows were even linked in any way.
Beast Wars starts out without any intention of connection, and then really quickly it becomes like connected.
Well, you told me over
actually-
Facebook that different continuities of Transformers get connected through, I guess, sort of a multiversal idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of Simon Furman stuff with Unicron, yeah.
Oh,
That's
wait,
a
But
really
really,
really?
Simon Furman Unicron is the same in every single continuity. It's the same being traveling between
Boy,
universes.
that blows my mind. I mean, we do that kind of thing in comics all the time, and we're doing it more and more, but, like, not usually through different media like that.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, it is one guy who made this decision and just kind of said everyone else was doing his thing.
Oh, okay. But
Hey,
do people consider it canon?
Yes.
I mean, this seems to sort of have
Like,
a
I
Star
don't
Wars
think if
thing
Unicron
where-
shows up in the Michael Bay movies, people are
like,
going to
they ignore
say,
some things and not other things.
yeah, Simon Furman's kind of a complicated. He's like the Chris Claremont of Transformers. And then,
Did he work on it
Or
for
Larry
10
Hama
years?
for G.I. Joe.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah. It seems like the Sunbow Marvel people assigned these properties to a writer. Like Larry Hama had G.I. Joe, Simon had Transformers, and Christy Marks had Gem. And they pretty much built and wrote all the backstory and creations for these things.
Well, Simon's a little different because Simon isn't there from the beginning. It's Bob Budiansky originally.
Oh, that's
Simon
right,
wrote
that's right.
British comics.
So my second
But,
favorite thing about this movie is getting to hear Leonard Nimoy say all of this really melodramatic, hammy dialogue. Especially getting to hear Leonard Nimoy just start screaming, "Die! Die!"
Nimoy had a lot of fun with that.
That's the best thing ever. And that's a case, Manos, where
So,
I think the
not
celebrity
completely
casting actually helps.
Side
Because
track, but to also get into the madness of Transformers.
Oh, there's Slag from the Dinobots, by the way. Slag disappears throughout a portion of this film.
Eric, are you there?
He's the Stegosaurus.
I think
Oh, can you hear me okay?
we might have lost Eric. Eric, are you there?
Oh no. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you started making a point and then you just dropped out.
Well, that's because you were talking and I stopped.
I wasn't. We've got a horrible lag apparently.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead because you were gonna make a point.
Okay.
Past
so,
me interrupted you.
So to get into the madness of Transformers, the storyline I mentioned earlier from the UK Transformers comics, Target 2006, which is kind of the Dark Phoenix saga of Transformers comics, like it's the big famous one. It takes place in 1986, and they decided that right before this scene, when Galvatron says Decepticons to Earth, he's not talking about this scene here, where the Decepticons come to Earth. He actually means Earth in 1986. He's going to time travel back to 1986, build a big space laser on Earth, so that in 2005, he can shoot Unicron with it. But then he doesn't do that because they make him think he's killed Starscream, and obviously he killed Starscream in the future, so they convince him he's created a parallel timeline that won't affect his future at all, and he just goes home and continues with the rest of the movie.
Ugh.
That's so convoluted. I love how anybody would think that you could make that would make sense, considering that he's not specific enough to say Decepticons to the past to Earth.
Well,
How do they know what
Hasbro
he's
said-
talking about?
It's because Hasbro told Transformers UK, we want you to do a story that promotes Ultra Magnus and Galvatron before the movie comes out. And they're like, okay, well, we can't do it after the movie because Ultra Magnus is the leader, Rodimus is the leader, and we don't want to spoil the movie. And we can't do it before the movie because Galvatron exists. So that was their workaround, was time travel in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, you know what? Something I've always thought was so strange was I sometimes wonder if the writers had trouble figuring out who they wanted to be the leader of the Autobots. Like, Rodimus is made the leader, but there's so much put on to Ultra Magnus to be the leader. Like, he's so much in the leadership role.
Well, it seems like they wanted to do like a bait and switch where like you think it's Ultra Magnus and then they reveal it's Rodimus, but some writers didn't get that memo. They still thought that it was Ultra Magnus.
I would have liked the idea, and they did this a little bit in the following season, but I don't think they did it enough. I don't think they were sophisticated enough about it. But there's something about the appeal of Rodimus Prime taking over after Optimus is that he would be, a young leader thrown into this, and he could have been a mentor. And I think there were some episodes where he did kind of play the mentor.
Season 3 is my favorite season. I think while it has some of the worst episodes, it also has some of the best episodes.
Yeah.
And I really like when they're doing it right. I like Rodimus as kind of a self-doubting leader who doesn't think he can live up to the memories of Optimus. Also, never mind. I was going to mention they reference something, but I can't remember what they reference.
Yeah, I did like a lot of the fact that Rodimus wouldn't even question. There was one episode where he even questioned the point of the war, which was like, wow, for an '80s cartoon, someone questioning war? That's a new thing.
It's Mice and Men. They reference Mice and Men.
Yeah.
Tell me about the Petra Rabbits again.
Yeah, the Petra Rabbits.
I didn't pick up on that. That's awesome.
Petra Rabbits. Yeah.
I love the argument and priorities.
And Frank Welker's doing the voice of the fighting drone.
I love the argument and priorities there a second ago. Should we go save our friends or tell stories?
Yep.
Oh, you're a robot again, Cap.
Yeah. Hey,
Well, that's okay. It makes sense for this.
I love I love that Starfield in the back for some reason. And they reversed the polarity. Very Doctor Who.
Well, they don't reverse it; they invert it. It's different.
Oh,
see?
yeah, that's right. America. We inverse the polarity, not reverse it.
Hey, Cap, when you were watching this, did you have trouble understanding what was going on during the scene? A lot of people seem to get confused by the fact that, like, one ship goes to one place, another ship goes to another place. There's two casts.
I have to be honest with you. I had a difficult time, like seeing anything beyond. Okay, there's a big war and people are fighting.
Yeah.
And like the big major beats, of course, I got, you know, the death of Optimus and Megatron becoming Galvatron and things like that. But yeah, a lot of these scenes, it just seemed to be like, okay, and this is a big important battle, and this is a big important battle. And like I said earlier, when you guys were talking about all the people that all the characters that died in the beginning, I was like, oh, people are dying in this movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this piece in particular seems to confuse people first time watching it because there are two Autobot ships that seemingly go to two different places, and the Decepticons don't see them go to either of these places.
Yeah.
And we're gonna cut back and forth between the two of them.
I mean, I picked up on there are two subplots and they're from different, you know, sets of characters, but it didn't occur to me that it was weird that the Decepticons didn't follow any of them. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. I guess they wanted to follow the one with the Matrix.
You got all these robot fish that just
Yeah.
normal.
Well, I guess he was more interested in the one that had the Matrix on it. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. That's the important.
I remember, you know, Logan, don't feel bad, because I remember watching this when I had it on video, and my sister-in-law was watching with me. And an hour in, she looked at me and was like, "Does this even have a plot at all?"
Yeah, I also discovered that one day. I was showing it to a friend of mine, and he's like, "Do you know what's happening?" I was like, "How could you not? It's so simple."
It's been fascinating sitting here listening to you guys talk about it because, like I don't know what I'm looking at half the time.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those cases where it's a film based on a TV show that's a continuation, not inspired by the show, and it does not care if you have never seen an episode. That's your problem.
Yeah, and I mean,
one of the
certainly
things
there's like a lot of thematic and you know big overarching thematic things and stuff that I pick up on, and there's things that I could certainly like latch onto and talk about with it. But as far as the mythology and stuff, yeah, I was totally lost.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a lot of stuff, specifically mythology-wise, that that this is the first time you're ever seeing it. And even more confusingly, because the comics and the cartoons are two completely separate continuities, except for this movie. It's in continuity with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it runs off
And then they
with itself
each pick out
afterwards.
their own ideas. Yeah.
And was probably different. Each of them was probably different before it too.
Yep. Yeah. They're two completely separate continuities. This movie comes out, they both decide that movie counts, and then they both keep going.
Oh, that's so
I
weird.
wonder why the Quintessence felt it was necessary to have a robot squid on their planet.
Well, my question is, they have sharks. I mean, they call them sharks. They look more like alligators, but they have Sharkticons that turn into robots. Why isn't the squid turned into a robot?
I don't know. Actually, the Sharkticons always look to me more like piranha. And they kind of act like...
Yeah, there's the small piranha ones, but then there's the other ones that are kind of
Yeah, the alligator ones, which were never a toy. The smaller ones that look like piranhas were the toy.
You know, one of the things, they always talk about these shows are toy commercials. I watched this show I watched this movie, probably like 98, 99 is when I first saw it. And I desperately wanted toys from this movie, and they were long off store shelves.
Oh yeah,
of course.
I had
would have been
I had
worth
all of
hundreds
these.
of dollars.
Yep, I had all of these. I had all the G3. I had most of the G2. And a lot of the G1s.
If
I've always
Nothing's gonna stand in our way.
If I
Nothing
had been
does.
a kid, because I was 2 when this came out. If I'd been in a little, an older kid and saw it in the theater, the one I would have immediately run out to get would have been Grimlock.
Yeah, I'd be a big star in this one.
I love Grimlock in this movie. He's not... Like, Grimlock is my favorite Transformer. It's not this version of Grimlock, but I do love this version of Grimlock.
Well, he turns kind of Scooby-Doo dumb in this movie, and kind of remains that way throughout the rest of the series.
I love how the kid is trying to figure out how to use the exosuit, and suddenly he jumps and does a magnificent flip, and then he's still off balance after that.
Yeah. I am not a fan of Daniel.
And now he knows how to use it from here on, no problem, and can aim with perfect precision when he starts firing.
A lot of people hate Daniel and Wheelie, I think that mostly comes from season 3. I don't think Daniel really that bad in this movie.
Daniel's okay. He's passable in this film. He just kind of exists. I hated Wheelie from second one. From second one, I hated Wheelie.
I never liked Wheelie until I saw season 3, and then I was like, oh, this is awful.
Maybe it might have something to do with the fact that I have a hatred for characters that speak in rhyme.
Oh, you must hate Etrigan.
He does balance it with the fact that he's menacing.
He
But
at
it
least
is
has sort of a
annoying. It's
reason
not
to
great.
speak in rhyme. Like, it's not just a random arbitrary choice.
I don't like it when Etrigan does it, but it's a little more. I don't see too much of Etrigan. He's not in everything I read and watch.
Thanos is like, I didn't have to watch a whole season with that guy.
Oh my god, if there was a season of Etrigan in
Talking
Justice
like,
League,
like
forget
it
it.
came out of Tartuffe. One of Jason's favorite things, my 6-year-old, is to make the Transformer sound and pretend like he's transforming.
Oh yeah? That's cool.
So he'll be standing up and then he'll pretend to turn into a car and he'll go.
I love it. It's great. Because I can do that, Alright, hold on. I'll see what I can do for you here. And I can do, the reverse.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what for you?
I can even do hold on. I can even do it when they're damaged and they're trying to transform.
Oh, God. Okay, I'm sorry,
I love
what,
it.
Eric?
The TF Wiki, it uses the scene we just saw. Anytime an article is incomplete, it uses the image from the scene we just saw and it says, you have to beat this out. Just, I don't know. It got built up now. It's not really that cool of a note. Although we have
It's not
every
at all,
single time Hot Rod transforms, he transforms completely differently. His body moves differently every time.
I wonder why that is, because you'd think there'd just be a model that you'd use to save time. I mean, like even though the models and landscapes in this are so ultra detailed, I mean, there's some corners that are cut here and there.
Oh,
You think that would be a corner you'd cut?
Here's one of my favorite scenes in the lines, actually. Bob Weep, Grana Weep, Nitty Bong. The universal greeting.
Are you
Actually,
really behind, or did you just now decide to mention that?
Oh, maybe. Where are you guys?
Because we're at the heads right now.
Oh, geez, you're at the heads?
I'm not at the heads.
Oh, I'm at the heads? You're not the heads?
Yeah.
Are you just really far ahead?
You're ahead. You're the one ahead, man.
Oh, okay. Well, this sometimes happens when...
Wait. You're in a different time zone. You're in Kansas.
Oh, yeah. That, I'm sure that's what caused it. Yes.
I think that's it.
Okay, I'm at the heads now.
Wait. Let me get to
Yeah,
that.
you shouldn't be that far behind. Sometimes when
Hold
you're
on.
watching on different programs or,
Oh,
between,
jeez.
computers versus DVD players, you'll be off a little bit, but you shouldn't be that far behind.
Ugh. Oh, great. Hold on. Okay, here we go. And man, I find it so disturbing, how there are chunks of robots there.
Yeah, those guys are mortifying, and they have alien heads.
Yeah. And a nice kind of 90s goatee there.
Ahead of its time in the 80s.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh,
No, don't take me. I'm the robotic lead singer of Spin Doctors.
And you asked me last night, Cap, what happens if they say
They
guilty?
say guilty, yeah.
I believe, maybe Maris knows this better than I do, I believe in season 3 we established they still drop you. It doesn't, this is all not,
Yeah, they
they
still drop
don't do
you.
this for any reason.
No, it's just funny to them.
So it's just this perversion of justice.
Yeah.
Spare me this mockery of justice.
They, yeah. They pretend like they have due
and-
process, but of course they don't. So you got to explain this to me. So they are, because they don't tell you this in the movie, but you told me, Eric, that they created the Transformers.
In the cartoon series, yes. They are the creators of the Transformers. The The Transformers were like a slave race, and then they rebelled, and then the Quintessons just went on with their day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They never answer who created the Quintessons. I assume stupid humans.
But aren't
And
they?
the Quintessons pulled a Brainiac on them, and eventually needed a robot army.
Manos, the Quintessons look like they're like half organic.
Yeah, I mean, they
So
have
couldn't they have
tentacles.
built themselves? Like they're just cyborgs with tentacles, right?
I bet you there is something somewhere that explains where the Quintessons come from, and I just don't know it.
Like they don't look like they're full on robotic. So
I haven't heard any explanations of their origins. If anybody has, they're free to comment. Oh, hi, I'm Wheelie.
It's like that whole thing is fascinating, and I wish that the movie would come out and tell you that, because that's
Well,
thematically really
to
interesting.
be fair, like I said, first 5 episodes of season 3 are all about the Quintessons.
Yeah.
So they get right to it, like, once they're done with the movie.
All right, and imagine this, Logan. You're a kid who's a big fan of Transformers, and you didn't get to see the movie over the summer, and then you tune in for the new season, and everything is different. It takes place in 2006. Just about everyone is dead, and this whole big continuity shift. And they kind of give you, at the beginning, like a quick explanation of what happened in the movie, and then they just jump into the storyline with the Quintessons and the new status quo.
Jeez, because of course a lot of parents wouldn't have taken their kids, and the movie didn't perform real well.
It did not know.
It was only in theaters for, I think, like 2 weeks or something. Like, it was had a really brief run, too.
Yeah, it didn't last long. I think it debuted in the top 10 and like number 7 or something like that. I don't even think it was even in the top 5 of the week.
Are all of the Autobots aware that that's who created them, or is that something they learned?
No, they learn it.
Okay,
Yeah.
because it just seemed like if they knew it, that would be a really easy line for them to give us in that scene. But they don't seem to have any idea who those people are.
No,
What?
It
Sorry.
had been a long time since they rebelled. So, their ancestors rebelled, and I guess they didn't keep track of records. And why would they? They're just computers.
Yeah, I instantly appreciate all of that a lot more, having that information.
Yeah.
Well, and if you remember, when we did the last Transformers movie, like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
there's like an alien hand for like 5 seconds in the beginning of that movie.
Uh-huh.
And I probably said something about Quintessons, and I'm sure people in the comments said things about Quintessons. Like, that's kind of what everyone assumed a weirdly organic alien hand would be.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's all becoming clear. Well, I should be taking notes. I feel like I'm in a Transformers class.
Oh, yes. Performed by Professor Manos and
Oh no, Manos, is
Dr.
there going to
Eric.
be a pop quiz?
Yes. I hope you're ready.
I'm going to try. We should probably mention that they went as far as to have a little bit of profanity in this movie.
Yeah, we passed by the scene.
intentional.
Which
Yeah,
surprised
that was to
me.
get a PG rating.
There's an S
Yeah,
word,
because
and there's a D word that we just saw,
Yeah.
which isn't
It's-
like
it's
a big
because-
swear, but unusual for a thing like this.
it's because
You just got to the... You passed the D word
Yeah.
episode where they shoot Magnus?
Yeah, that's
I
what
don't know
I'm
how you keep... I don't know how you keep getting ahead of me.
I'm watching at normal speed.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Yeah, it happens between programs.
Open. Damn it, open! They
but
shoot
yeah,
him. Dead.
because there's so much death in this movie, and because as we know, censors don't care about robots. They were worried that parents were going to bring their kids to see the movie, and it was going to affect them the way it did affect children. So they intentionally put a couple of swear words in to make sure it got PG.
Yeah. It's that cynical. And by the way, people did complain, and when it went on to video the first time, they omitted the swear words, by the way.
That's true.
But probably none of the violence. They
And
probably
there
kept
was
all that
even,
the same.
it was almost a it was almost a legend, like, hey, did you hear the S word? And it's like, later DVD versions, replaced it back. I have nothing but contempt for this court. I love that line. Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, just watching the movie.
Sorry. All right, here we go.
I'm just watching a
here's
different part of the movie than Manos.
Yeah, Are you watching the same part with me, Eric?
Right now they're driving around and the Sharkticons are chasing them.
Yeah,
That's right, that's what I'm watching.
We are fast, free and young.
Yeah, no, I'm farther than that. Driving around with different things.
Yeah. I absolutely love this fight
Well, it's
scene, but-
Transformers. There's a lot of driving.
Yeah. I know this kind of technically makes no sense. Even if you are a car robot, I don't know how you could turn a pool into a whirlpool like that. I don't know.
You know, man,
Man,
I feel like you could have. I feel like you could have called this movie Turbo a Power Rangers movie, and it would have been a more apt title than it was.
Well, yes.
It's not even
Man,
a Power
they-
Rangers movie, and it works better.
They trash these Sharkticons. I almost feel sorry for these guys.
What kind of color coded like Power Rangers?
Yeah.
It's true. No, there's a lot of things they have in common, certainly.
They become their own car Zords.
I love how Cup picks up that tail and uses it as a mace.
Obviously,
I
giant
love
transforming
when,
robots. We've got that in Power Rangers. It's very inspired by that kind of Japanese entertainment.
I love when Hot Rod punches the teeth and all the teeth fall out. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
And then he tries to swipe the other one, and he hits that other Sharkticon. Oh,
His face falls off.
yeah, that's pretty bad. Oh, when the Dinobot says "excuse me" to the crushed Sharkticon, that got a big laugh in the theater.
Yeah, I don't understand how these things were not put in the Michael Bay movie. They don't get to talk at all. The Dinobots have lots of classic lines. He doesn't have to write. He can just steal them from this movie.
Yeah, I know.
So the Dinobots in that are supposed to be these Dinobots?
Well, yeah, the leader's Grimlock, and I don't think they have Slag, but Slag kind of disappears from the Dinobots because it turns out Slag is a curse word in England, so they just kind of stopped using Slag. I think sometimes they call it sludge.
And another commercial break.
Look, Slag, we're sorry, we love you, but your name doesn't play in other countries, so we just, you gotta go.
Me, Grimlock, say execute them. I love that line.
I was
And,
really surprised when the Sharkticons transform. I was like, oh, they transform?
Yep.
I mean, they had
Shut
a con
up,
at the
really?
end, so I should have expected that, but I didn't really expect. And then when they transform, it feels like their transforming is totally pointless.
Yeah.
Well,
That
that's
doesn't
one
look
of the
useful
issues
at all.
Transformers run into, is a lot of times their transforming is totally pointless.
It's like, oh, they're doing that just to demonstrate what the toy will do. Like that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, here we go to which was somewhat of a controversial viewpoint in Transformers fans at the time. Like, okay, like the Junkions rebuild the dead Ultra Magnus, and why can't we go back and fix all the other
Turned
Transformers?
gray.
I guess so. Yeah, he's still alive in those junks.
In
So-
Beast Wars terminology, his spark is still going. Optimus' spark is gone. Let it
But that-
go. Get over it.
Put down the chainsaw and listen to me. It's time to join in into the fight.
So I want to talk about Weird Al for a second. When I was watching this the first time, I thought that that I accidentally pressed something on my computer and started that song. Because I'm a big
cowboys.
I'm a big Weird Al fan, and I listen to that stuff all the time. And suddenly that song starts, and I was like, that doesn't belong in this movie. And then it turned out it was really part of the movie, and it blew my mind, and I did not understand what that was doing there. I thought it was bizarre, and even even amidst the rest of the music in this, it kind of comes out of left field. Like I bet even in the theater to a lot of people, it was kind of random. It came out of left field, and I assume that it's partly there because it's it's a really geeky, silly, nerdy thing, and that would be a lot of of any of the adults that would come to see this would probably listen to stuff like that.
Well, also
But-
Weird Al, that Weird Al album came out about around the time this film came out.
Yeah, I mean, we're
and-
selling everything in this, right? We're selling the toys, we're selling the music. Somebody from that record label probably came to them and was like, "Hey, Weird Al should be in your movie."
Yeah.
And so they did the
I-
best they could with finding a way to put. Yeah.
Oh no, find the other way. I was just gonna say, I love this shot of this Quintesson ship landing and that swirling motion. I mean, it's such a cool design for a ship. I mean, it makes no sense, but it's fantastic.
I'm gonna start going up to people that I meet for the first time and saying that greeting.
Bog weep, grotto weep, nitty bog.
We should open the commentary with that.
I did in episode.
Instead
I did
of
episode-
instead of hello everyone, I'm gonna start opening videos like that. If I ever do any Transformers thing again, I'll open with that.
Yeah. Did you, hey, Logan? Do you remember? I actually opened. I actually greeted on a Primetime Prices Live with that one week.
And I had no idea what you were talking about. And now I'm glad I've seen this movie because now I know.
I wish I remember what episode that was.
But
We can be stupid, all right.
But what I was going to say about Weird Al is, one of the things that makes that so weird, of course, is that there's pop culture references all over it. Because
Yeah.
it's a Weird Al song, and it's about commercials and TV and stuff. And then you've got these bots that that speak in commercial speak, and
They talk TV.
and so like that was the best they could do in finding a way to fit that in, is that it sort of connects thematically because they speak in advertisements. And I think that's kind of funny because it's a movie that's a big commercial that has, I don't even know if you could call it social commentary or if it's just there. You know what I mean?
I
But
think it's just there.
but
I
it's
don't know if
there.
it's smart enough to be commentary.
I mean, I obviously don't want to read too far into that stuff, but I just think it's kind of funny that they're speaking in commercials, and it's a big commercial.
Well, and in Transformers Animated, there's an episode with Rek Gar, who's the leader of the Drunkians, obviously, and he's voiced by Weird Al.
Oh, cool.
And
Yeah.
it says, "I am Rek Gar. I dare to be stupid."
Oh, that's awesome.
I think hasn't he played Wreck-Gar again? Like, because there's two more shows after that. I feel like he's played him once or
Rek
twice.
Gar doesn't show up in Prime, and I haven't watched Robots in Disguise.
Neither have I. It's on Netflix. I still haven't watched
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna watch it at some point.
I mean, that song gives you a Mr. Whipple reference in a Transformers movie.
Yeah, there's also a Leave It to Beaver reference.
Leave it to Beaver, yeah, it's really weird. But like I had to watch this a second time before I decided that it's at least not like completely out of this continuity, because it at least gives us a year so the 80s happened. So you're at least not referencing things that don't exist in this universe. Like, that was my worry about it at first. I was like, well, I guess all that stuff probably happened. But I don't know what the Earth in the 80s looks like in Transformers compared to our world, because I haven't watched the show at all.
Well, it looks like our world, but there's giant robots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
is
the
another
difference.
planet.
But is the culture mostly the same? I mean, it's weird that in 2000, like we're in 2005, and we have a big Autobot city, but we don't really see what the rest of the world looks like. I don't know if we're in like a
Well, it's probably a cheat, so they don't have to guess.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same or if it's kind of post-apocalyptic or.
Well, and then when we get to season 3, which stays in 2006, we're much more on like alien worlds and things like that. Like we do go to Earth a little bit, but
We do get to see Earth. We do get to see more of Earth in season 3, and
Did they
it's
bother
pretty much
with
like
Oh,
it's pretty much like Earth, except obviously Earth has been affected by the Autobots living here, so it is now more advanced. We get to see a few different cities, like we see Japan in an episode. We see a couple of. We get to see quite a bit of America, and yeah, and everybody's wearing future clothes. which is kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, I was wondering if they even bothered with that or if they just made it still look like the 80s.
No, they did the stupid 1950s idea where
No, it's the
everyone
future.
wears future clothes. And, their collars are popped up. Like, everyone is like the kid from Saved by the Bell, apparently, in the future. And, all their collars are popped up, and they have these brightly colored future clothes.
At least they're not bland-colored jumpsuits.
Almost. They're almost like that.
Oh.
Cap, have you seen Beast Wars at all?
Yeah, I watched that a little bit when I was in junior high, and liked it a lot.
There's an episode, there's an alien race throughout that series called the Bach. And there's an episode at the end of season 1, and there's this really cool bit where they turn into Unicron's head,
Ooh.
and their explanation is, this is the closest your species has to understanding what we are. And I really like that, because as far as the cartoons are concerned, Unicron never really comes back. But this is such an important event that, Unicron is remembered as, a massive force. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, That is cool. I'll have to go
I
back
gotta
and see
say,
that at some point.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about it, but I remember loving it.
Hey, Eric. Hey, Eric, Cap. Were you surprised when Unicron turned out to be a Transformer?
I was going to ask you that since you saw it in theaters.
Yeah, I was surprised. I don't know why I didn't expect it. Everything else was transforming, but I just thought, it hadn't occurred to me that you'd be this planet that transformed. And so, yeah, it was actually a really cool reveal, and they didn't stupidly blow it in any previews and trailers and commercials or anything like that. So, yeah, I got to have a nice surprise in the theater when it happened.
I guess it
It
makes
also
sense that
wasn't
he's
disappointing.
such a cosmic force that you wouldn't expect him to actually be a Transformer, but I expected. That's why I was so surprised when you said that the makers of the Transformers are in this movie. I kind of expected him to turn out to be the creator of the Transformers.
He, in the comic books written by Simon Furman, he is essentially the Transformers version of the devil.
Okay.
And Cybertron itself,
Because there's
is
some
a
hell
being called
there's a lot of
Triad.
hell imagery in the third act of this. If you
Oh,
go
here's,
Yeah.
toward
here's
the
an
end.
animation. Here's an animation mistake coming up soon. In 1 second, when Hot Rod falls off the spike. Let's see.
As far as the cartoons are concerned, he was made by a weird alien monkey thing.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, okay.
Like, he doesn't quite line up on the spike. Whoops. It's probably the worst mistake. I love these backgrounds in Unicron.
I meant to mention something before and I forgot to. There are a few things that are better than Star Wars, but the Junkian ship really is much more deserving. You can look at that ship and go, what a piece of junk. Really about the sleepy cool. The Junkian ship looks like it was thrown together in, welded garbage.
Yeah, there's no way the Millennium Falcon was a ship that people were calling garbage when it was built.
Yeah.
It's just been around a long time and is maybe kind of outdated and should have been mothballed 20 years before Han Solo got his hands on it.
Never mind about working together, I'm gonna kill you.
I love that there are, different environments inside of Unicron's body.
Yeah.
Vastly different environments.
It kind of feels like they were just trying to make as many different landscapes as humanly possible in this movie.
Yeah.
And they all look good.
Yeah, it looks good. And, yeah, the insides look amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this is an
Well, he's a
amazing
planet.
spectacle. The big takeaway for me the first time I saw it was I'm not even sure I have to know what's going on to enjoy this movie.
Me, Grimlock, kick butt.
Well, Grant Morrison once
On the
did an
way-
interview where someone...
On the side of being a ride, it really works. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Grant Morrison once did an interview, because everything comes back to Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison once did an interview where someone tells him, I didn't understand this comic you wrote, and he breaks down, the most basic level of the plot. Did you understand this was the good guy, this was the bad guy, and the good guy succeeded? They're like, yeah. And he goes, then you understood the comic. I think this movie's that way. I think as long as you understand Unicron's big
Unicorn.
bad.
Unicorns are
Unicorn.
bad!
That would be a definitely different film.
The evil unicorn. Yeah, I mean, Unicron's bad, and he's a much bigger, scarier force than the Decepticons.
There is a Japan exclusive spin-off.
Mentality versus a.
There is a Japan.
Go ahead.
Sorry. There's a Japan exclusive spin-off, Beast Wars anime, where they have a unicorn transforming into unicorn.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that did happen. This is pretty terrible. I mean, dropping these Transformers into this molten, melting lava, which apparently doesn't melt the thing it's in. I guess that's like his stomach.
Yeah, that's always been my understanding. It's really, really horrifying, like, even by implication for a children's film.
Yeah.
That your dad is going to melt alive.
Yeah. Luckily, he's figured out how to use that suit so well that it takes one shot.
Yep.
Well, I like that he didn't. Like, he just kind of blindly fires. It just happens to be perfect.
Yep.
So, Eric, what is this like environment number 12?
Well, this is the same environment. I mean, we established like 4 environments, and we keep cutting between them.
Oh, okay.
At least within Unicron. I mean, if we're counting the whole movie, this is probably environment number 12.
Mm-hmm. Dun 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 dun
Wait,
dun.
so-
Not today, Megatron.
Is Galvatron holding the turret that goes on him when he becomes the stationary
Yes.
gun? Like, hopefully you
Yeah.
don't drop that anywhere. You're gonna need
Well,
that when you try to fire yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Like when he was Megatron, he didn't have. That was just part of his weapon, but I mean, he could fire without.
Like, wouldn't it suck if you
That
had to
is
carry
the
a
thing.
piece of you around?
I love that he jumps on Hot Rod as a car, and then Hot Rod transforms as if just to let him choke him.
Yeah. And how
Just
how
stay
do
in car!
how do you choke a robot anyway? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
do
I
they breathe?
can't breathe. Oh wait, I'm a robot. Why am I worried? Oh, I love this shot of his eyes in the window there.
I really love Leonard Nimoy as Galvatron, and I wish he'd done season 3. I mean, it's completely different characters, like maybe it wouldn't have fit, but he's just so menacing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably the thing I know Leonard Nimoy most for.
Yeah, it's definitely his best work.
No, it's not.
It's his most artistic work, at the very least.
But I
see,
love
I
that he's
don't
so
know, some other
committed.
crap.
I mean, like
He did that song about the Hobbit.
this shows you. This shows you just what kind of an actor he was, though, and how much he threw himself into everything he did. Like this was not beneath him. I mean, like, he threw himself totally into it.
And it wasn't
Yeah.
beneath him to come back for a Michael Bay one.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the cheesiest lines in this, and he just sells it. Like, you know,
Yeah.
anytime you have to yell "die, die, die" and "no," like you're not working with. You're not working with a genius piece of, you know, art or anything. And a story.
You got the thrust. You got the power.
They spent some money on this shot.
Yeah.
So this is a complete retcon that has just been forever. Like Optimus Prime isn't like a status before this movie. In fact, he's called Orion Pax. He just gets rebuilt as Optimus Prime. But from this point on, Prime is now a thing. It's important.
Yep.
It's also
I
the only
thought
thing
it
that you
always
call Hot
was.
Rod now.
The only
No. There was who's the guy before Optimus Prime? Was it Alpha
Alpha Trion.
Trion? Yeah. Alpha Trion didn't get a Prime name.
Yeah, no, and then once this movie comes out, everything after this is done, Sentinel Prime and things like that.
Yeah, like Prime becomes a rank, and in some, you know, in I can't remember what. I feel like in one or two things I've looked at, Prime is it's almost like you're like you're born a different species or something. Like you're a.
Yeah, it changes from thing to thing. Sometimes it's like an animated.
Where you're
it's
like
a
you're a
rank.
prodigy or something.
Yeah.
Like in animated, it's a rank. In Some of the comics, it's much more just Prime is the leader. Like, that is the leader of the
potential,
Autobots.
kid. There's any of the old guys.
The whole time.
They opened season 3 with this shot of them crashing out of
Yeah.
Unicron. And they put some weird filter on it because it didn't look as good.
They had to make sure
Well, and there's also...
make it look dumbed down
Sorry.
for television.
Maybe. You cannot destroy my destiny!
So there's a thing I'm interested to know if you're, because you are watching a different DVD copy than I have.
Yeah.
This ending is different on different releases. On the VHS release, mine doesn't have it, but on the VHS release, there's a voiceover at the end that says,
Oh, yeah.
and the greatest Transformer of them all, Optimus Prime, will return.
Yeah, they don't. They don't have that on this. This is the same one that you've got.
Yeah, they threw it. It's on the VHS. I don't know if it's on any of the DVDs. It's on the VHS. It was there to tell kids, no, it's okay. He's coming back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is half true. I mean, there's an episode in season 3 where he comes back as a zombie, and then they kill him again. And then he finally comes back, and then they cancel the show.
Yeah. Oh, God, I love that shot. I always loved the idea that his head became a new moon of Cybertron.
I think that's such a cool idea. Like, his head is like a space station.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Thank you for explaining that. I didn't know what the significance of that was.
Yeah, and it was partly because like he even destroyed a moon of Cybertron, so now
Yeah,
he's
replaced it.
replaced
They put
it.
it back. You see, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah. And
That's a
let's
neat
see.
kind of poetic fate, though. I like that.
Now we're watching the credits. Like, look how many names are under Frank Welker's when we get to Frank Welker.
You can do that with any movie. You can
And
put
look,
any
like
movie
Soundwave,
in like it.
Megatron, Rumble, Frenzy, Wheelie, Junkion.
Were there any dogs? He did them too. He just didn't get credit for it.
If
Yeah.
there was a dog, it was Frank Welker.
He has, from what I understand, he has 700 credits on his IMDb, and I think that's too short. I think he's probably done more than that.
Oh, he has. He's got.
Yeah,
lots
there's
of
probably
uncredited
ones we
stuff.
don't know about.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got uncredited things listed there, but he probably has uncredited things that are not listed there.
I know, he just works. It works. You know what? When I was obsessed with this movie when it came out. I was already obsessed with Transformers at the time. And when this came out on video, video tapes were still expensive. Like, you know, if you wanted a copy of Transformers the movie, you had to shell out $50-$60 for it. And I desperately wanted a copy of this for my birthday, and my mom was not going to pay that much for the video. So what she did was she rented it and gave it to my uncle who had 2 VCRs and dubbed a copy for me, and even taped a picture of the Transformer on the box for me. And that was great. I watched that pretty much all that day. I watched it over and over again. Which was that was a really nice day.
I mean, I remember even when I remember even at 5 or 6, the first VHS tapes I got were super expensive, and we had a beta player for a minute.
Wow.
When I first moved to Florida, I wasn't supposed to move to. At least once a day, probably, I watch this movie.
Oh man, I watched this film so much.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I feel like there's
And
a
then
piece
it
of my
wasn't
childhood
years
missing.
later. Well, like 8 years later, I tried to show it to people. I realized other people just don't understand.
Yeah, they don't get it.
Okay, Manos, give me your pop quiz.
Okay, in the movie Transformers the movie,
The Transformers, the movie.
who played Galvatron?
Oh, well, Galvatron was played by Leonard Nimoy.
Okay, see, you're doing great. Alright. In the movie Transformers the movie, how many roles did Peter Cullen play?
Oh, crap. 3?
It's either 3 or 2.
Okay. So I might be right. Manos doesn't even know the answer to his own trivia question.
That's right. I'll give you a hint. It's 2.
Oh. Okay.
I have a trivia question.
Sure, make up
Wait. A Sunbow and Marvel production. Is there another company called Marvel, or is...
No, this
Did
was
Marvel
Marvel
Marvel.
Productions.
actually still own it? Okay, because I knew Marvel published the comics, but I didn't know if they, like, had anything to do
Yeah,
with
they
it.
also did the G.I. Joe cartoon, and Marvel Productions is who did Spider-Man's Amazing Friends.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize that they did that they had anything to do with this. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Good to know.
When Hasbro was decided to make TV shows and franchises based on these toy lines, they went to Marvel, and then working with Sunbow, they pretty much wrote the backstories for all these things. For G.I. Joe, for Gem, for Transformers, all
Well,
three.
Cobra doesn't exist before Larry Hama. They just showed up with toys for like soldiers and was like, write a comic book. And he's like, what, do you want them to do like maneuvers? Like, do you want it to be like 60 issues of them training? Who do they fight?
Yeah. Because that was always the thing about the G.I. Joe toys before the 80s, is they were just soldier dolls, and you just had them do... I don't know what kids in the 60s did with their G.I. Joes.
I don't know
it
either.
was it was
They
like
really
Marvel
like that
story.
Who did they fight? Yeah. That was a brilliant idea, to give them a villain.
Okay, Eric,
And
what,
there you go.
Well, see, children like to play out long existential dramas between individual G.I. Joes, where they really confronted their own personal demons.
Well, that was the 70s G.I. Joes. Actually, that was the thing.
Right.
The
that was the
70s G.I.
Vietnam
Joes.
G.I. Joes.
Well, that's the thing about the 70s G.I. Joes. They became, because the Vietnam War was so controversial and such a bad experience for America, the G.I. Joes became more like outdoors guys. Like, they would like do more like
That's
like
where Kung Fu
mountaineering
Grip comes in,
adventures.
right?
What's that?
That's where Kung Fu Grip comes in, right? Is in the
I think
70s.
so, yeah.
where,
Kung
like,
Fu Grip
he's
came
not
in
a
the
soldier,
70s.
he's a Kung Fu guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about G.I. Joe. That is not a commentary that I'll be on.
I think that's the extent of what I know about G.I. Joe.
I know quite a bit about the comics. I couldn't tell you anything about the cartoon.
I don't know much more.
Okay, so we're well
I-
past the end of the movie. We should close up shop here.
Yeah.
Eric,
Yes, we should.
Eric, what was your trivia question?
I don't remember. I have.
Oh,
Okay. In the movie, the Transformers, the movie, there are a handful of Dinobots that appear, and one of them, named Slag, does not appear. What dinosaur is he? Or he appears in one frame of the movie. What dinosaur is he?
Wait. Okay, so I'm confused. So you said Slag. What's the question again?
What dinosaur?
Dinobot. What dinosaur is Slag? He only appears in one frame of this movie. What dinosaur is he?
You mean what kind of dinosaur is he?
Yes, what kind of dinosaur?
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, well, you said it's Slag. I don't know what the question is. Oh, you mean what sort of dinosaur is he?
Yes.
Oh, is he a Stegosaurus?
Yes!
Yes.
I
got
thought I
it.
saw a Stegosaurus.
You did it!
I'm too
You got
it
it.
free.
so much!
One frame.
You got the power!
Well, everybody, thanks as always for listening. We sure appreciate it. This was a lot of fun for me. I learned a lot. Thank you guys.
When all hell's breaking loose!
And we'll just let Manos play us out.
Alright. I enjoyed this. Thank you very much.
He's done singing. Right. Thanks again for listening, folks. We'll see you next time. I'm Captain Logan, and this was Eric.
This was Eric. Now I'm Galva Eric.
And Optimus Manos.
And Manimus Prime.
Thanks
I'm
again.
Manimus Prime now.
We'll see you next time. Bye.